Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, good evening and welcome to News Hour. Coming up in tonight's edition, President Bio calls on Sierra Leoneans in Mauritania to return home after their studies. Nigerian High Commissioner to Sierra Leone reaffirms his country's commitment to the bilateral cooperation between the two countries. Senior Director for Education Global Practice World Bank visits Sierra Leone, and the World Animal Protection calls for the elimination of rabies by 2030. These and more coming up tonight with me, Shola Bello. Welcome back. You're watching News Hour on the SLBC TV. President Bio has called on Sierra Leoneans pursuing courses in Mauritania to return home after their studies. President Bio met with them after the 31st ordinary session of the African Union Heads of State and Government Assembly held in that country. His meeting was to update them on the vision of the new direction agenda of the SLPP government.
They had to take hours waiting on him to address them, which according to him was a show of patriotism and nationalism. He encouraged them to come home and contribute to national development, especially so when they are in that country to empower themselves academically.
Definitely, we will come out, we not can know how much people than they when Australian, but we will sooner we go one for Sudan and talk to una, make una know say yes, una deny some man can seek knowledge, some man they look for greener pastures, some man they na family relationship make, they don't can here. But we all are the same. We know say, oh una done, so man get for go back, for go South Salon. I just want for make una know say Salona for all, irrespective of say comment, your culture or your language, we all are the same. That I make it say the SLPP we can talk say one country, one people. Because we are one people. Any side we come, we meet Sierra Leonean there. We go one for talk to una for make una know say we are still part of that society. If we have get differences because one man believes so, or the other one, the APC, PMDC, NGC, the election done. We are one country now, one people. So when I try for main defenses and they act as a community, I want to say thank you to the council for we the given our leadership, and then thank you to the leadership of the Sierra Leone community now. For una to keep with brothers and sisters together, and I hope say una to take good care of them and secure the interest now, because not to say we the can no more. So we're glad for me now, and we hope say una go remain peaceful citizens now. Whether they come for land, may they land. Whether they look for business, may God give the opportunity and the luck for make a good business. Without denial for others, anything we deny, may God make us succeed, so that we go back in the salon. Then we serve the way the salon as a government. Yes, as the foreign minister say, things are tough, but we tackle them. So we not they crumble. We be no say they're tough, but we can with the preparation in mind, and we are ready to take on the challenges. And definitely, by the grace of God, we go make sure say Salon go better.
Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Minister Dr. Ali Kaba said, under the new direction agenda, equal opportunities are assured for every Sierra Leonean. First Lady Fatima Bio appealed to them to be law-abiding and peaceful as they are staying in a foreign land. She advised them not to take the risk of crossing the Mediterranean Sea to Europe. President of the Sierra Leone community in Mauritania, Aruna Oman, commended President Bio for taking time off his busy schedule to interact with his fellow Sierra Leoneans. Mr. Oman assured President Bio of their fullest support as they are ready to return to Sierra Leone and contribute to national development. SABC TV News are in Freetown. Hawa Mosiwe reporting.
The High Commissioner of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to Sierra Leone, Dr. Habis Ibrahim Ugbada, has reaffirmed his country's commitment to strengthening the bilateral cooperation between the two countries. He made this assurance during a courtesy call on the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Dr. Ali Kaba. Hawanatu Bangura reports.
Thank you.
Good to see you again. Thank you so much.
The two envoys discussed several issues aimed at enhancing the existing bilateral relations and furthering cooperation on multilateral issues. They further emphasized the need to cooperate on issues of common interest, particularly on economic development. They underscored the significance of broadening their engagements and scaling up cooperation in areas such as trade, health, and education. Welcoming the Nigerian High Commissioner, Dr. Ali Kaba underscored the significance of his visit, which is aimed at further broadening and deepening the existing bilateral and multilateral relations between the two countries. He lauded the contributions of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in enhancing the socio-economic development of the country, particularly following the recent official visit of President Julius Maada Bio to Nigeria. He dilated on the long-standing bilateral relations between the two countries, spanning for decades. The High Commissioner of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to Sierra Leone, Dr. Habis Ibrahim Ugbada, extended fraternal greetings and best wishes to President Julius Maada Bio while congratulating Dr. Ali Kaba on his recent appointment as Sierra Leone's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. He said his visit is to further broadening and deepening the existing bilateral relations and to reaffirm their commitment to agreements reached between the Federal Republic of Nigeria and Sierra Leone.
The World Animal Protection has said that by 2030, rabies should be eliminated and the adoption of holistic dog population management in the country. Country Director, World Animal Population Africa, Tennessee Williams, made the disclosure to journalists in a press conference held at the Ministry of Agriculture UU building. It was organized by the National Livestock and Animal Welfare Rabies Control Task Force, together with the World Animal Protection. Ibrahim Samora has more.
Freetown is one of the cities in Africa with the highest number of stray dogs. This has led the Sierra Leone Animal Welfare Society, together with the World Animal Protection Organization, to tackle the issue of stray dogs and rabies by 2030. At a news conference in Freetown, Country Director, World Animal Protection Africa, Tennessee Williams, told journalists that Sierra Leone has over 200,000 dogs, a greater percentage of them roaming the streets. He said the National Livestock and Animal Welfare Rabies Control Task Force, in collaboration with the World Animal Protection Organization, engaging the Ministries of Health, Agriculture, Education and the judiciary to come up with an action plan to implement the National Rabies Elimination Strategy launched in 2017.
We lobby and advocate by working with governments to influence policy change that will ensure animals have a life worth living. We educate and mobilize. Through that, we sensitize the general public on the importance of animal welfare and why it matters to animals and humans. Last but not least, we catalyze sustainable solutions by upscaling local solutions that improves the welfare of animals. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, from our Africa offices in Kenya, Nairobi, We work with other stakeholders to educate people through the media, and that's why we are having this press conference, public forums, and trainings to create a firm understanding on the need to protect animals across the continent.
His organization, Mr. Williams said, has been working with the task force since 2014 to come up with a national rabies elimination strategy, noting that globally they found the most effective ways to protect animals in communities by working with governments to manage dog populations humanly and to vaccinate them against rabies. Director of the Sierra Leone Animal Welfare Society, Dr. Abul Godosh Jallo, stressed the need to protect animals.
Meaning that we have to look after animals. For people who, sometimes you see somebody carrying chickens by their legs with the head down. Is that animal welfare? No. And the most interesting seems that everybody knows what animal welfare is. As long as we are human beings, we look after humans. Human welfare so as is the animal welfare. And normally, when you have an animal, a goat, a sheep, a dog, if you look after the hen well, the goat well, then you will get good body condition, you will get more meat, you will get more money for that animal.
According to the Sierra Leone Animal Welfare Society, over 100 people died annually for dog bite, and in 2018, 7 deaths have been reported out of 600 cases of dog bites. Eliminating rabies by 2030 for Sierra Leone in particular was viewed by other speakers as a challenge, as the country can only boast of 5 veterinary doctors against the estimated 250,000 dogs in the country.
Many people cannot afford to buy food in restaurants, so they prefer rice in local shops in communities. This is a trade that is dominated by women, and some of them have been in it for years. Sheila Reffel visited one shop at Aberdeen.
May Kamara is a cookie seller who has been in the business for more than 17 years. She succeeded her mother in this trade. Through this trade, she has been able to raise her 4 children, and some of them are now in higher institutions of learning. I learned to be a good cook when attending school. At that time, I used to assist my mother in the kitchen. I found this trade to be rewarding, and I enjoy doing it. I'm a single mother, as my husband died when my children are still very young. But with this cookery trade, I am okay. I started small, but now I thank God. My advice to fellow women in this business is to be focused, as with this trade, they can make it.
Therefore, avoid millet once. If you want stand firm, before not here can go put in and concentrate one inside.
When I started this business, cookery was sold at 500 leons a plate. Nowadays, if you want to have a good plate, the ticket is 10,000 leons.
Now how the country because today that me mama their own days, where they me this war, still they not be there so. Still not be there so when they go church one green fish and they tell you say 80,000, 70,000.
Customers of May Kamara say she is a good cook.
I've been eating at Mary's cookery shop for several years now. She's a decent woman. She knows how to cajole customers.
Cookery business for May is a life career, and according to her, as long as she remains healthy and strong, she will remain in the trade.
Assistant Superintendent of Police James Taru, attached to the Bunuru Police Post in the Pejo West Chiefdom Kailang District, has said that sexual penetration on girls under age 18 is on the increase in that part of the country. ASP Taru was speaking to SLBC's Mara Masuma, said that lack of permanent structure as a police post is hindering their work. The police are using the community barrier as a police post, and their work is sometimes disrupted when community activities are being held in the barrier. He has been explaining more to Marama Suma.
Security issues here is a challenge, it's a big challenge on my side because in the first place, we don't have a permanent structure for police officers to execute their lawful duties. We are using the community barrier wherein we don't have the office space even for detention or for even our official work. So we are using the community barrier. Sometimes when community have problem, they have to come to us to excuse them so that they have their meetings. Sometimes even on Sundays, there are church programs. So it is like Sundays normally we don't even have police duties except until after 12 when churches are over. We have been in this position since after the war. There have been no police permanent structure in this place since after the war. So there's a bigger constraint here in terms of policing. They have assaults and fraudulent conversions wherein people obtain money from people either for produce of cuckoo, because here is a cuckoo-dominated area. So we have similar problems like that, except on very rare cases where we have serious offenses, felonious offenses like housebreaking and larceny, burglary and larceny. But it is very rare here. Particularly sexual penetration, wherein children under 18, people are used to tamper with them. We have series of matters like that, and when we have matters like that, it's normally sent to either Shekwima, where we have bigger station, or Bunungu, or Daru police station, where we have the divisional headquarters. Our priority here as a post commander here is to get a permanent structure for police officers. Bunungu here is a strategic place. We deal with matters from other chiefdoms besides Peje West here. We have matters from Yahweh chiefdom bordering Kono district. We have matters from Peje Bongre, that is Manoa, and then Penguia chiefdom, and even part of Kenema district. We have series of matters because of the strategic location of Bunungu. So I'm appealing to authorities concerned to help the police to get a permanent structure here so that our manpower will be increased so that we can get rid of offenses that are more prominent in this community.
Senior Director for Education Global Practice, World Bank, has reinforced the bank's commitment to support access to quality education in early childhood, primary and secondary education. Jami Sivedra is also in the country to discuss government's financing policy for education, skills development, and the implementation of human capital projects by the World Bank. We bring you excerpts of his statement to journalists.
Very important commitment of this new government of investing in education in terms of financial resources, but also in terms of putting the implementation capacity that is needed in order to deliver a better service. The announced policy of free quality education is something that we see as a critical element of providing good quality education for all. And actually that's the path that all developing countries are taking now, is the growth process of the country. We are now, the World Bank has been very active in the education front. Recently we have had a report last year about the status of education in the world. And one a key message that we had is that the world is facing a learning crisis, in the sense that there has been improvements in education globally. More kids are in school, but many of the kids who are in school are not learning. Right? And we do see the magnitude of the problem is large enough that we can say that it's a learning crisis that we are facing in all regions of the world, of the developing world. One in the case of sub-Saharan Africa, that problem is very large. Right? The percentage of students who do not have attained the fundamental skills, the basic skills of reading and writing, is extremely high. So that is a problem for the whole continent, and actually, it is a challenge also for Sierra Leone, and The important thing is that the government is recognizing that there is a huge challenge there.
A significant occurrence of motorbikes collision is caused by bad roads. The people of Leicester Road community have called on the government to rehabilitate the main road in the community. The road is made worse during the rainy season, which normally leads to motorbike accidents. SLBC's Alfred Filet visited the community and spoke to residents.
Leicester Road community is one of the oldest communities in the western part of Freetown. Thousands of people are living in that community. Over the years, the condition of the main road leading to the community has been in a very deplorable state, among other things. According to some residents and bike riders in the community, they go through a lot of constraints, especially during the raining season. This has led to road accidents among bike riders, school children, and also make usage of the road very difficult, especially when it rains heavily. Hindolo Alpha, a bike rider in the community, said the drainages are too small and are easily flooded.
We are challenged every season. In the dry season, dust causes diseases to many, while in the rainy season, the drainages flood. In other words, people are unable to go about their busy schedules, especially school children.
The road is usually slippery and dangerous when it rains. According to him, school children and the community people are constrained when it rains. This is according to Fanta Margaret Sise, a pupil and resident of the community.
The condition of the road is very bad, especially for children when it rains. My elder sister got injured.
Media Initiative for Women and Girls has held an interactive engagement for girls who intend to make journalism their career. Challenges facing female journalists in Sierra Leone were discussed in the session. The interactive session was held at the Harry Yatsune Hall, Campbell Street in Freetown. Daphne Kima Macaulay filed in this report.
There has been growing interest from young girls in Sierra Leone to enter the field of journalism. Female journalists like Asma James, Adam Asila and Nikki Spencer Coker have inspired many young girls in Sierra Leone to join the profession. These young girls seem determined to join the profession amidst numerous challenges women in the media are faced with. When interacting with the girls, Asma James, who is also the station manager of Radio Democracy, said she started off as a freelance journalist and rose through the ranks. Mrs. James encouraged the girls to be persistent, as being a female journalist in Sierra Leone comes with a lot of challenges. The station manager for Radio Democracy says the girls should be focused if they want to attain managerial positions in the profession. She said she has been defamed several times but has been strong enough to keep a straight face, as she is determined to succeed and make a mark. She told the girls that they should be prepared emotionally for issues like sexual harassment and intimidation by their male counterparts. Nikki Spencer Coker, who also doubles as a barrister, told the girls to be steadfast in their studies, as that is what will make them stand out among their male counterparts in the profession. The girls were stunned to learn that a barrister can also be a radio presenter. Tanu Jallo, a lecturer at Forabe College, was the only male journalist at the interactive session. He said these household names have in various ways made an impact in the lives of many Sierra Leoneans, including the Executive Director and National Coordinator of Media Initiative for Women and Girls Empowerment, Adam Asila. Her organization, Media Initiative for Women and Girls Empowerment, is for young people to interact with their mentors and share ideas on ways to conquer intimidation, sexual harassment, and how to uphold credibility in the profession. The theme of the interactive session is Young Women Breaking Barriers and Harnessing Their Full Potentials. Amnata Salu Kamara explains why she has chosen journalism as a career.
It has been my passion ever since I was a kid to be a journalist, because most of the times I watch CNN and also I watch Star TV, I listen to different radio stations, I see women out there who have so much passion, who are willing to help others do their way of talking, to writing, all of those things just motivate me the more. But I really do want to be a journalist.
Media organizations like Women in the Media and the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists have also made an impact in the lives of many young people. For SLBC News, Daphne Kemo-Macaulay reporting.
The Commissioner of the Anti-Corruption Commission, Francis Ben Kaifala, has granted bail to the former Vice President Victor Bokarifo and former Mines Minister Minkailu Mansari after they were indicted for alleged 2017 Hajj scholarship corruption. The ACC Commissioner also told journalists that the Commission is in the process of reviewing the Hajjgate investigations and reopening of investigations into the Ebola funds. He said that the Commission will further look into the sale of shares at Sierra Rutile and that the 2015-2018 Auditor General's report will also be investigated. He made the disclosure during a press conference held at the Commission's conference room at Gloucester Street in Freetown. Francis Barnard was present and filed in this report.
The word corruption is not new to Sierra Leoneans, as they have observed politicians and connected persons break, weaken, spoil and ruin a system or institution. Corruption is now part of our social, cultural, political and economic structure and takes place when public officials develop power to grant concessions, divert public resources, issue illegal permits and many more. This meeting, according to Commissioner Francis Ben Kaifala, is an interactive session with the media as a way of updating them about issues surrounding corruption in the country. According to him, the Anti-Corruption Commission will review the investigation that is ongoing in the Hajjgate scandal. After going through the files, Ben Kaifala said the investigators noticed that some parts of the investigations were not completed by his predecessor before the indictment was made. He revealed that there is the possibility that many people will be indicted and charged after the reviewing process.
That there were various areas of the file that has not been completely investigated before the indictment was filed. There are various leads that have not been pursued. There are various aspects of the case which would expand the charges beyond 4 that have not been considered, or if they were considered, they may not have been looked at from the viewpoint that would make those charges to make it into the indictments. And there is the possibility that the investigation itself involves more people than what is presently in the indictment. Sealed Indictment 1. An indictment was lodged and it involved the following persons. It was the state of Sierra Leone against Sheka Said Kamara, Victor Bokarifo, and Abu Bakar Kiru. They were charged on various counts, 4 of them involving misappropriation of public funds.
The commissioner also said that the ACC has uncovered a high level of corruption at the National Social Security and Insurance Trust, NASIT. According to him, 4 people are already in detention. The commissioner also told journalists that the commission is also investigating other corrupt issues that have to do with Sierra Rutile.
Similar to the Hajjgate, before the previous commissioner left, he filed an indictment which concerned investigations into Sierra Rutile. The indictment involves Alhaji Mohamed Bundu Mansare, Matthew Hurd, H-I-R-D, and Wayne Benter. We began immediately. I came in is an investigation into grand corruption at NASIT. It's a huge web. A lot of people, top management, are involved. Some are already in detention. We had arrested about 4 of them. One has been put on bail because he had been in prison for more than 7 days. The others are still in detention.
Commissioner Francis Ben Kaifala said the ACC will work with other institutions to make sure they succeed in the fight against corruption in the country. The ACC will thoroughly study the government transition reports and make possible indictments, he said. For SLBC News, Frances Bernard reporting.
Meanwhile, the long-awaited transition report that was released on Wednesday this week has been met with harsh criticism by some members of the public and those alleged to have been engaged in fiscal discipline. Many have raised eyebrows as to how the team arrived at such a conclusion without having a qualified audit firm to confirm an independent audit as to whether such misappropriation of public funds actually occurred. Recent among those that have damned the transition report in a release are former President Ernest Bai Koroma, former flag bearer of the All People's Congress Dr. Samora Kamara, former Finance Minister Momodu Kagbo, former APC Attorney General Fitzgerald Kamara, and former immigration boss Khalifa Koroma, among others. The former president, Ernest Bai Koroma, has said in a press release that all the allegations of corruptions and other negative practices levied against him in its transition reports are untrue. The allegations, the release states, are maliciously contrived up to smear his image. According to the release from the former president, a legal team has been consulted to look into the governance transition team report. Former Attorney General and Minister of Justice, under the leadership of President Ernest Bai Koroma, has also set the record straight in a release that the said date of June 2014, he was not minister as alleged. He said that he has at no point in time been part of an agreement for a project to transform several grounds into a shopping mall and parking lot. In order to have all the parties named in the controversial transition report in the country to help with the ongoing investigation, police has issued a release calling on all authorities concerned not to grant approval to any of the persons named in the report, but to direct them to seek permission from the office of the current Attorney General and the Minister of Justice. Ever since the release of the transition team report, accusations and counter-accusations in the press release have been pouring in from State House and those named in the report. If you're just joining us, you're watching News Hour Live with me, Shola Bello. The Minister of Information and Communications, Mohamed Soare, has briefed journalists about the President's 100 days in office and the transition team report. The minister said the transition team report is not a witch hunt on the past APC government officials, but a means to show accountability and transparency. The press briefing was held at the ministry's conference hall UU building in Freetown. Joseph Toure filed in this report.
According to the Minister of Information and Communications, Mohamed Soare, the reason the country is facing serious economic challenges is because of the corrupt practices of the past government. He said that people need to be accountable for what they have done, which shows a working democracy. The minister was also assertive that the process is fair, just and transparent and in the best interest of the country. He boasted that the president has done well as he promised to declare his assets within 90 days, which the vice president has done too.
Many have described the report, well, not many. I've had a few loose, gaseous dismissals of the report as witch hunt. Well, this is the sad state of our country. Many people now see things through jaundiced lenses, through variegated lenses, forgetting that the common denominator we all have is Sierra Leone. His Excellency, on the day of his swearing-in ceremony, did say he was president for the whole of Sierra Leone. At the inauguration, he re-echoed that. This is a Sierra Leone we all have, the only one we all have. We have committed to running it for the benefit of all Sierra Leoneans.
The Director of Disaster Management, Office of National Security, John Rogers, made a presentation on the preparedness of governments on disaster risk management. He highlighted some of the reasons for disaster in the country, which include unplanned urbanization, illegal dumping sites, excess sand mining, deforestation, and many more. The director expressed concern about the slow response of people to adhere to early warning signs as we are now in the raining season. He called on authorities concerned to work together to mitigate the rates of disaster in the country.
This is being backed up by relevant ministry, departments, and agencies. We have been meeting, and one critical part about it, or which is very important for us to understand clearly, is not only for us to send early warning, but equally so for people to be able to respond to that early warning, which refers to as the early response. For example, if we are going to have volume of water falling, we are going to have an increase in the level of water by a number of centimeters, we must be in position to tell the community that we have now studied clearly that indeed that particular area is bound to be flooded. I can tell you that we are up to this particular season and we can address it effectively as we are looking at it.
The Director of Foreign Exchange at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Edmond Cisse, said as a ministry they are concerned about the increase in the prices of basic commodities. He stated that some business people are taking advantage of the situation and warned them to desist from such practices or they face the full force of the law.
Joseph Ture filed in that report read in the studio by Daphne Kima Macaulay. We'll join Esther Marie Samara now for the sports.
It's a hearty welcome to Sports Updates on News Hour. I am Esther Marie Samara. In this edition, in the quarterfinals of the ongoing 2018 World Cup, five-time winners Brazil were humbled by Belgium by 2-1. In the early match, France defeated Uruguay by 2-0. We now bring you highlights of the two matches.
In their last 8. The Group A winners facing the Group C winners for a place in the semi-finals. Suarez, clever ball from Nandez, in towards Stuani. Caceres, taken down, and the volley towards goal is from Vecino. Antoine Griezmann stands behind this free kick. Griezmann, and hunted towards goal and in by Raphael Varane! The defender strikes for France. It's their first attempt on target in this match, and it is the opening goal of this match. Look at how he makes tracks unimpeded, nobody going with him, and Varane suddenly appears as Stuani was preparing to head it clear to safety. Lloris with a wonderful save, and Godin can't quite turn in the rebound. Lloris at full stretch. Outstanding goalkeeping to keep France in front. Tolisso. Here is Antoine Griezmann. Griezmann to shoot, and it's gone in! An error from Fernando Muslera. Antoine Griezmann with a second goal for France. A huge mistake from the highly experienced Uruguayan goalkeeper. Griezmann with the shot. It looked to be a regulation save, but somehow the ball didn't stick. Is he trying to punch it away here, Muslera? Pogba. Tolisso just opened up for him. Could so easily have been goal number 3 for France. And France are through to the semi-finals at the 2018 World Cup. Uruguay 0.
For the right, he decides what he wants to do. Good cross in, and it's very nearly bundled home off the post from Thiago Silva. Briner picks up the pass, Delaney. Oh, horrible finish. He got a little deflection that made the result kinder for him.
It's a brilliant move, though.
Stay fit, and it comes towards that near post. It's an over! They all look at each other in Belgium league.
Lukaku takes all the praise in there. Did he go for Belgium shot at last? They all look a little bit sheepish, the Brazilian defenders, and Belgium take the lead.
He's made to the game. De Bruyne might have a go here. Does. Oh, it's a scorcher!
It's a goal worthy of winning any World Cup, let alone a quarter-final. And Kevin De Bruyne puts Belgium 2 goals to nil up and leave Tite and Brazil on the brink. An absolute belter. And it's another terrific save from Courtois.
I think it's a save he should make. Coutinho did. Checks and goes again. Guarded well. And it fizzed in towards that near post area, and Firmino was in there.
Well, if they are going to get back into it.
Wagner around the corner, and that should be Courtois. He comes to get it, doesn't get it. Costa. Marcelo. Cross drive. Under the clock. Lukaku wants it played right. It's played left. Eden Hazard to finish it surely. It flashed wide. And for the briefest flash of a...
Sad moment for the tournament favourite Brazil as they are out of the campaign. France will be locking arms with their counterpart Belgium in the semi-final stage of the 2018 World Cup on the 10th of July 2018 in St. Petersburg. And tomorrow Sweden will be locking arms with England, whilst the host Russia will be locking arms with Croatia at 6 p.m. SLBC Sport is hopeful of bringing the match to you live at your home. Many thanks for watching SLBC Sport Desk. I am SLBC News. I am Esther Maisama. Thanks for watching.
Thank you very much, Esther Marie Samara, for the sports. Now for some entertainment news. Samuel Colombo is an Italian musician who has identified Sierra Leone as his second home and has released a new video showcasing the beauty of Sierra Leone. For more information on that, let's join our entertainment producer, Mohammed King Milan Bangura.
My real friends, they don't look to your money, they don't fund the French money,
Samuel Colombo is an Italian musician who has identified Sierra Leone as a second home. Samuel was born on the 7th of October 1985 in Milan, Italy. He studied law and communications. Samuel is the chief executive officer and founder of the West African Corporation with a head office in England. A good love for music way back as a child and was a member of an Italian band group called Real Friends. Presently, Samuel is in England, and from where he answers a few questions on his musical career.
At first, I want to say thank you to all of you. I want to say thank you to SLBC. I want to say hi to everybody, my great brothers and sisters in Sierra Leone. So who is Samuel Colombo? Samuel Colombo is just an international upcoming artist, singer and songwriter.
Colombo first came to Sierra Leone in 2014, and the first thing that attracted him is the richness of Sierra Leonean music. Fode, popularly known as DJ White Boy, who is also his manager, was opportune to be with him when he first arrived in the country.
Well, previously,
Well, I came to know Samuel Colombo in 2014. That was my first experience being with him. Yeah, I listened to a song by one of our hottest and biggest female artists, that's Zizi. At that time, you know, Fire, and Samuel Colombo was interested in it. Later, he told me he's a musician. I said, wow, for real? I said, I think you've met with the right person. Colombo fell in love with Sierra Leone and decided to embrace it as a second home. But why?
That's why right now I'm promoting myself, but even I'm trying to do my best to attract the right people and investors on this new area of the world that is Sierra Leone, full of beautiful places, great and talented people. I want they start to look at the talents in this particular area of the world, so I can attract investors for music and tourism as well.
So, reggae okay. Samuel Colombo, Embassador.
Now, Colombo is planning to release an album, and most of his songs were recorded in Sierra Leone. Recently, he released a brand new music video titled Forever With Me, featuring a young talented singer M. Posh, and in the video clip featured Nadia, a one-time Miss Tourism. The video of the song showed sights from different parts of the country. On this, Colombo says,
In this particular video, I even want to show complicity in simplicity. I want to show there is possible a true love between a white man and a black woman, without false interest, a love not based on money.
With this video and more of his songs around the country, how will Sierra Leonean populace be able to hold a copy of his album, especially when he's away? Presently, Samuel is working very hard for his songs and videos to reach at the top. Very soon he'll be expected. I won't be able to say when now, but very soon he'll be expected. I'm expecting him from now to January.
My home government wants you to execute this job.
Patriot is a movie produced in America by Cameroonian writer and director Dexter Brains. Dexter was born in Cameroon and studied audio-visual graphics in Dubai before finally ended up in America. The movie Patriot was premiered on the 1st of July in Maryland, USA, and it's a true story about the Amazonians in Cameroon, and Dexter was a victim.
The movie The Patriot is not actually tied to some particular brand of movie. It is based on a true story. So it means if you can understand what real happenings are, then you understand what The Patriot is all about. We didn't just sit overnight and then frame something and then we're trying to put it on a giant screen. No, it is what's happening as we speak right now, and it's what's happening.
According to Dexter, the production of the movie was not an easy one, as the movie was shot in winter, but with the determination of his crew, the movie was successful. Dexter was impressed with the casting. At first, he was not sure of the type of talent that would be part of the movie.
And the worst side of our own case is that we actually shot in winter, in the heart of winter, you know. So there were some days where we were actually shooting in the snow. But one of the most difficult situations that we faced was time management and putting the people together. Basically because we had our casts, they were not just around. We have casts.
Well, from the entertainment, this will end News Hour for tonight. A look at the headlines. President Bio has called on Sierra Leoneans in Mauritania to return home after their studies. Nigerian High Commissioner to Sierra Leone has reaffirmed this country's commitment to the bilateral cooperation between the two countries. Sierra Leone Senior Director for Education Global Practice World Bank is visiting Sierra Leone, and the World Animal Protection has called for the elimination of rabies by 2030. On behalf of the news editor Asmi Ba and the production team, I am Shola Bello. Thank you for watching and good night.